Hello, everybody, and this is Eredean, and this is the 6th of March. This is night. I know this will be going up on the 7th, but we're looking at all of the spoilers for Dragons of Tarkir so far. And we've got some pretty cool stuff just spoiled. We've got these uncommon dragons here. One from Rakdos the Swift Warkite, who is a 4/4 flyer for 6. One black, one red. When Swift Warkite enters the battlefield, you may return a creature with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand or graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste, and return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So that is a pretty cool card. I mean, there's a lot of good 3-drops in Mardu right now, so something really cool you could do with Mardu, or you could just go with Rakdos, says this is a Rakdos card. So we got some really cool stuff that we not only basically get a dash, but we get dash and then it goes back into our hand after it's been in the graveyard. So it's pretty neat. Savage Ventmaw, a 6/1 red 1 green flyer 4/4. Whenever it attacks, add 3 red and 3 green to your mana pool. Until end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from your mana pool at steps and phases end. Whoa, that is pretty cool. That is a very good uncommon for dragons, especially in the colors. You could be looking at either Jund or Timur or well, really just Gruul dragons, and we might be seeing dragons as a probably a tier 2 deck in standard. I don't know. But it's looking good. We've getting support for it, and that's what is the most important thing. We have Ruthless Deathfang, who is a 1 black 1 blue for 6 and 4 colorless, a flyer, and whenever you sacrifice a creature, target opponent sacrifices a creature, which is going to be great for that extort ability that we're going to have. Black blue is getting a bit of a source engine here, or sack engine, sorry. And it is a 4/4 as well. So that is, I think this is going to be a very good card for probably, I don't know necessarily it's going to be a great card, but probably a 2 of. It's definitely interesting, I'm going to say. Enduring Scale Lord, I kind of like this one. It is 1 green, 1 white for colorless, 4/4 flyer. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters are placed on another creature you control, you may put a 1/1 counter on Enduring Scale Lord. So you're going to get 1/1s quite a bit in Abzan or in Selenisa. Not so much Naya or anything, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out in a Naya deck, but we might see something like that. Pretty decent, pretty decent. Definitely going to be big quick, I'd say, in an Abzan deck, especially a bolster deck, which I haven't seen too many of, but you never know. We will see. Collected Company, 1 green, 3 colorless, instant. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and then the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So that is pretty dang cool, considering it's a 4-drop. I mean, considering, well, we'll just say this. Wow. I mean, you're getting 2 3-cost creatures onto the battlefield. I mean, potentially, you could, look 6 and get nothing out of it, or you could get, look 6 and get 1. But either way, you're getting 6 mana worth of stuff for 4, if you consider it that way. And it is an instant, so it can be played at any time, which is a very cool idea. This is going to be a very good card, I'm thinking, especially in Abzan. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get a Siege Rhino out of it, but you're going to get potentially anything from Rakasha Deathlord to, I mean, just considering it's green, Heir of the Wilds, Anafenza, just trying to think of other 3-drops, you can just get some really crazy stuff. 3 to 2 drops, even 1 drop's not that bad. But we'll move on to Acid Spewer Dragon, who is 1 black and 5 colorless flying Death Touch Megamorph of 2 black and 5 colorless. And whenever it is turned face up, put a 1/1 counter on each other dragon creature you control. For black, I'm not sure how well that's going to turn up. Definitely interesting. A possible build for maybe Jund dragons, maybe in limited. But that Megamorph is pretty crazy high for that. I don't see much out of this personally. Hidden Dragon Slayer is one I'm really keen on. It is 1 white and 1 colorless, a human warrior, a Megamorph creature with lifelink, and whenever Hidden Dragon Slayer is turned face up, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater an opponent controls. So you're basically getting a reprisal out of this, which if you consider you're paying 3 and then 3 for a 2/2, and then you're paying an extra 3. So let's just think about the morph, okay? Forget the morph. Morph sucks, kind of. But if it's just a morph creature, right? You get a 3 for 2/2, whatever. But then you megamorph it, and you're getting a 3/2, which is pretty good. With lifelink, it's decent. Human warrior tribal, and then you get a reprisal out of it. That is crazy. I'm gonna say that is really cool. I love Hidden Dragon Slayer. Very, very cool. Sunbringer's Touch, 2 green, 2 colorless sorcery. Bolster X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it gains trample until end of turn, which is it's a pretty decent deck or pretty decent card for both bolster decks as well as most Abzan decks. I'm gonna say endure, all that stuff. It's pretty decent for its archetype. I'm not going to say it's going to be decent for standard. I don't think so, unless bolster or endure decks somehow, go really crazy. Maybe white-green heroic. I don't see that either, though, so meh. Sarkhan Unbroken. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, and 2 colorless. It is the new Sarkhan, 2 in a set, which is really freaking crazy to have 2 of the same planeswalker in, or block, I should say. Block, not set. Sorry. 2 in the same block, and he's got some really cool abilities. I'm not sure if he's going to be standard good, but he's definitely going to be eternal good. Temur is definitely boosted up here. Animar EDH is going to be crazy, even though you're douche for running Animar most of the time. Scion of the Dragon is going to be really nuts with Sarkhan Unbroken in there. Mostly for this emblem ability, if you can ever get that. But if there was ever a deck you could get this emblem, or not emblem ability, I always say that, his ultimate ability, it is a Scion of the Dragon deck that you're going to get it in. So his +1, draw a card, then add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. Draw a card, that's just right away, that's good. There's his blue. That's pretty much the only blue I see in here, other than it's kind of search. Search and draw is kind of a blue thing, but I don't see a whole lot of blue in Sarkhan Unbroken, other than his hair. But that is a really good first ability. Saying that you want to use that first ability because his -2 is put a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So, yeah, a 4/4 for 2 or a 4/4 for 5 isn't super great, but you know what? When you're going to get more out of him, you can always consider him for extra life, because they do got to deal with him. But that is a great ability right there, especially for dragons. And his ultimate, search your library for any number of dragon creature cards and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. This right here is exactly what you want out of an ultimate ability, a game winner. Not every planeswalker recently has come up with their ultimate being a game winner, but that is it right there. So I gotta say, Sarkhan Unbroken is one I'm really looking to hopefully pick up, mostly for my Scion of the Dragon EDH deck, but also just because he has some gorgeous art. I gotta say, out of all of them so far, Sarkhan is easily one of my favorite arts out of the recent history. And coming up, my other favorite art is right here, Dragon Lord Ojuati. 1 blue, 1 white, 3 colorless. A new Elder Dragon. If we ever thought we'd see another Elder Dragon, there they are. They're back. A flying Dragon Lord Ojati has hexproof as long as it is untapped. So there is your protection right there. That is very good protection when you've got him down on the board. As long as you don't let him get countered, you know, you're good for at least 1 swing of 5, which for 5 is really good value there. 5-4 for 5, oof. But whenever he deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them onto your hand, or into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That is a crazy good ability. I'm gotta say, White Blue, or Jeskai at least, is gonna see a lot more play thanks to Dragon Lord Ojati and the Planeswalker we'll be seeing in a little bit. But that is a very good card and very worthy of the legendary Elder Dragon status. We might even be seeing some Ojutai. Sorry. Ojutai EDH decks, because I'd love to see that, because he is super cool and super good. Now we're moving on to Stormwing Dragon, who is 1 red and 5 colorless, a flying first striker. Whenever he is turned face... Oh, he has the Megamorph ability, blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted to move on to this first. Whenever he is turned face up, put a 1/1 counter on each other dragon you control. Now, I know this is basically the same as the black one, but quite frankly, Death Touch on a really big creature isn't always great. I mean, it's really good because, you know, you get to kill creatures with bigger toughness than their power, but really, First Strike is really, really good. Now, what you're getting out of this is for... essentially 7. We'll just say 7 because we don't count the morph. I don't see the morphs. But for 7, you're getting a 4/4. Well, yeah, you're getting a 4/4 with flying and first strike and this ability. So he's not great, but he's better than the Acid Spewer Dragon. So he is what he is. He's good for... I don't know, if you're going for somehow kind of limited dragons, he'll probably be good for a dragon deck in standard, but not amazing. Epic Confrontation, we have some amazing art with more punching of animals from what it looks like the Temur again. 1 green, 1 colorless. A sorcery, target creature you control gets 1/2 until end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control. Buffing a creature and then fighting is always a good combo, so it's decent. It's probably gonna see some sideboard play at the very least. Cunning Breeze Dancer, 1 blue, 1 white, and 4 colorless. A flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Not super sure why it didn't have like Prowess 2 or something like that on there, but whatever, I guess. It's still really good. It'll be a finisher, I think. Not super... Probably... I don't even know how many would be ran of this, but I don't see it too much in standard. Maybe a few Jeskai decks, but maybe some... I don't know. I just don't see it in Jeskai decks too often. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just... I mean, it's a pretty decent card because, I mean, when you're playing it, you're not going to attack with it. But the next turn, you can get off, you know, quite a few spells and make him really big. But, I just don't... I'm not too sure about this one yet. Maybe some Azorius control? I don't know. I just don't know, quite frankly. But here is another big one for the deck, for the set. Really gonna be great. Just I see this one really making either Gruul or Temur a big deal. I don't know if it'll do anything for anything else, but definitely Temur and Gruul. Maybe if Jund Dragons become a thing, well, become a thing in standard, but wow, he is, or she, I should say. They're all she's, from what I remember. I think even Ojutai is a she. Not completely sure. But most of them are females, if not all of them. So another Elder Dragon for 7 mana. 1 red, 1 green, and 5 colorless. You get an 8/8 flying trample. That's already really good. Like, just stapling that right there, that'd be easily a rare most of the time. But then we have the second ability. When Dragon Lord enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalker your opponent controls. That is a great ability. There's not a whole lot of ways to deal with planeswalkers most of the time, but that is a great one. Dealing with able to, clear the field. Wow. The only minor setback this has is it doesn't do players, but you're going to do 8 damage to player, because this is great. That is a really great card. I'm very excited for that one. Excited to see it in play anyway. Really going to be great in Dragon decks. So then we have Roast. Oh, I should also mention it's good for all of the Dragon decks. Naya, Gruul, Jund, and Temur. She fits in all of the dragon, like the big dragon subtypes. It's crazy, and I just wanted to go back to that and say that. Very crazy good. Roast. 1 colorless, 1 red for a sorcery. It deals 5 damage to target creature without flying. Pretty decent. I don't know how well it's going to see play in Standard, considering this is going to be a sideboard. I don't know what you're really wanting to deal with this with, but it's there, I suppose. It might have been better with flying. I don't know, because I feel like this one in particular is just, there's too many dragons. Too many flyers that you're going to want to deal with, and this doesn't deal with the flyers very well, obviously. I may be wrong. I feel free to tell me why I'm wrong and everything. I completely want to, get better, but I'm just giving my own opinions, of course. So here's a really cool looking one. The Shore Crasher Elemental, 3 blue. 1 blue, exile Shore Crasher Elemental, then return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. 1 colorless Shore Crusher Elemental gets +1, -1, or -1, +1 until end of turn, and it has Megamorph for 1 blue and 4 colorless. So that is pretty good, I'm going to say. This is probably one of the best Megamorph creatures, other than, I would say this is just way too good. I mean, this one kills this one if it's Megamorphed. Just putting that out there. But just this ability right here, being able to Megamorph him over and over again if you have to, as he might die, is really cool. But I don't know. I think this one, I don't think it'll see much standard play, but I can see it being put into eternal formats. I see it fitting into anything like that. Limited play is going to be really great for this guy, because this ability right here is just like any Morphling, or not Morphling. Is it Morphling? Whatever, Superman type creature. We'll say that. Any Superman type creature. So, Silmargar's command, 1 black, 1 blue, 3 colorless, instant. And this is a really, really cool set of things. The command set is crazy. So, for this one, we have choose 2, counter target creature, or counter target non-creature spell. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Destroy target planeswalker. Wow. So out of these things, you can get a lot out of something. You could return any of your opponents or your stuff to your hand. It's permanent. That fact right there is crazy on its own. Non-creature spells, pretty good counter. Killing a creature -3/-3, that's crazy. Destroying a target planeswalker, that is a powerful ability. This is a very powerful card. I'm not excited to see that because I don't play these colors, but I'm sure it's very exciting for Sidisi or Sultai players. Ultimate Plice 1, black 1, colorless, destroy target mono-colored creature. It's decent. I'm not going to say much more than that. It's decent. Bloodchin Fanatic. Here's a cool one that will hopefully boost the warrior tribal. Three CMC, 2 black, 1 colorless. An orc warrior, 1 black, 1 colorless, and it's not a tap ability or anything like that. Target player loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is target or sacrificed creature's power. So, one thing I don't see, it's like not a warrior control. So if you want to kill another warrior on opponent's side, I'm pretty sure that's how that works out. That you can do that. I don't see why you couldn't. It very specifically just says sacrifice another warrior creature. You can let me know if that's wrong, because I'm very curious, actually. I'm not sure if that's right. But either way, with your own warriors, for 1 black, 1 colorless, you can just start chipping away at the opponent's health, and that is just a really good one. Here is another one that I'm very excited to see, especially for my token, my token decks. Descent of Dragons. 2 red, 4 colorless, sorcery, destroy any number of target creatures. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller puts a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. It's nuts. EDH, I see this being very playable as well. I see people, destroying utility creatures for, whatever. I'll take the utility creature out and you can have a 4/4 dragon. Or I'm just going to destroy all my creatures and I have 4/4 dragons everywhere. I just see this being really, really cool, working out really cool in both standard, maybe standard. I'm not sure about standard, actually. I see this maybe a sideboard for standard. Eternal, though, I'm just seeing so many things out of this, especially EDH. So this is another one of my favorite cards of the set. Den Protector, a 1 green, 1 colorless human warrior. Creatures with power less than Den Protector's power can't block it. When Den Protector is turned face up, return target card, sorry, not creature card, just target card from your graveyard to your hand. So that is very good. So if you, consider getting okay, you have a morph creature and then you pay 2 for a 3/2 creature, which is very good. And it can't be blocked with, by creatures who with less power than it, which is another very good one. And then you get to return a card from your graveyard to your hand. That is very powerful. You can return any instant, sorceries, any card. That's just a very good card. It might even breach its way into making Abzan Warriors a thing. Which mostly it's white-black right now Warriors, but Abzan Warriors perhaps. But I could see this being played in some better Abzan decks, definitely sideboarded, for sure. Asharin Foremost, this is one of my favorite cards of the set. I love Mirran Crusader, the Mirran Crusader ideas. The double strike, 2/2s for 2 white, 1 colorless. Very awesome. I love these guys. So it's a creature human warrior, double strike. Whenever it attacks or enters the battlefield or attacks another target warrior creature you control, gains double strike until end of turn. So it is, in a lot of ways, a lot like Silverblade Paladin, only you can keep picking which one you want, but it doesn't last. Unlike Silverblade Paladin, who with his soul bonded person, so while you can pick a new one every turn, basically, whereas Silverblade couldn't pick a new one every turn. This one you can pick every turn, but it doesn't have anything with blocking, so you're not getting a lot of value out of blocking, but really I think this is more of an aggro style deck, as are Warriors. So we have Anticipate, which is alright. It's pretty decent. I think it's a very good card for blue, especially with white, blue, and Jeskai. Probably even a little Sultai. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them onto your hand, and the rest at the bottom of your library in order. So it's good. It's decent, especially having that instant. Deathmist Raptor, a 2 green and 1 colorless. Death Touch, whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, you may return the raptor from your graveyard to the battlefield face up or face down. So you're getting value out of that Megamorph again, potentially, especially if you have multiples of that. And it's a very good card. 5 is a bit much, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it might be a bit much, but, you know. It doesn't trigger itself. It doesn't seem to, anyway. I don't believe it was. So that's fair. And we're going to go on to the next thing. The next page. By the way, I am using magicspoiler.com. Dragons of Tarkir spoilers. But that's another thing. Jutai Exemplars. Very cool card. 2 white, 2 colorless. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose 1. Tap target creature. Jutai Exemplars gain first strike and lifelink until end of turn. Tap target. Exile Jutai. Exile the Exemplars, then return it to the battlefield untapped or tapped under its owner's control. I don't like the tapped very much, but that's okay. But you know, that does save it from getting killed. The first strike's pretty great. Tapping a target creature, very good as well. Oh, and lifelink. That didn't process for some reason. So that's a very great card, especially in Jeskai or Azorius. We'll probably be seeing a lot more Azorius play, I think, very soon. Probably a lot more Jeskai as well. And then we have Zurgo Bellstriker. So this is the new Zurgo. The old Zurgo is gone. New Zurgo's in. I'm a little disappointed in him. Not that he's not a great card. He's a great card. But I'm a little disappointed considering old Zurgo was so, like, crazy beefy and I mean, he wasn't a great card. He was a bad card, quite frankly. Zurgo Helm Smasher was pretty butt. But this one is very good. Just not as crazy, scary looking kind of thing that old Zurgo was. So, he can't be blocked. Can't block creatures with power 2 or greater, which is fine because I don't see him as being, you know, a very... I don't see you attacking or blocking much with Zurgo. He's more of an attack creature as, you know, he is in red. And he has a great dash ability for 1 red and 1 colorless. Gain haste and then is returned from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So, dash is always great. I think dash is a very cool ability. Very underplayed, very underutilized. I think this one in particular is going to be very good, though. Because his dash ability is kind of this thing where... if you use his dash cost... you know, you can see him being played later game. You're not, like, too super disappointed at seeing him late game. Whereas, you know, if you drew him and it's like, oh, late game, and he didn't have this dash thing, it'd be pretty bad either way. But there you go. Then we have Dragon Lord Dromo Ka. 1 white, 1 green, 4 colorless, another Elder Dragon. It can't be countered, which is great, in a very Selenisa-colored thing. Flying and lifelink. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That is a game ender right there as well. It is, you know, it shuts down your opponent in a lot of big ways. So that's very cool. You're not going to get crazy combat tricks from your opponent on your turn. You're not going to get countered. You know, it's a very good one, I gotta say. And it's a 5/7, which is decent for the cost, but really these abilities are what you're looking at. And that, you know, body does help. That big body, oof. It's going to be hard to kill, but not too hard if you if you have Doomblade, I guess. At Kara's command. 1 red, 1 green, choose 2. Your opponents can't gain life this turn. At Kara's command deals 3 damage to each opponent. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Creatures you control get 1/1 and gain reach until end of turn. Very crazy good card. It's basically the new Skullcrack, and it just is way too good. It's awesome. Very great command card. Karen Face Reanimito. I can't read this. We got the click to read. So Risen Executioner, a creature, warrior, zombie, mythic rare. It can't block. Other zombie creatures you control get 1/1. So obviously a new Zombie Lord, which is pretty fair from the name. Well, I guess it doesn't have Lord in its name, so never mind, it's not a fair thing. I'm just getting crazy. So either way, other zombies get 1/1, which is pretty good. We might see zombies as a decent tribal here, especially with the new Sidisi. You may cast Risen Executioner from your graveyard if you pay an additional 1 for each other creature in your graveyard. That is a crazy expensive ability, but still pretty crazy that you can get it. So it's a good card on its own, but that thing. But the last ability is, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that extra ability. It's kind of really expensive, or it can be, especially in a zombie deck. Lightning Berserker, 1 red. Lightning Berserker gets +1/+0. Well, it's basically, so it has fire breathing. And it has dash, which is really cool. Very cool card. Gonna go in my Barbarian Berserker deck until they make better and more Barbarians and Berserkers that I can, but it's a good card. Pretty decent. Then we have Narset Transcendent, which I see being a very big thing coming up. I don't know if it's as good as Sarkhan. It's going to be very hard to say. Sarkhan's more aggro, and she's very much control. So I'm going to say it's probably 50-50 on these two. They're very good, but she is insanely good. So look at +1. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a non-creature, non-land card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. The revealing it kind of sucks, but, you know, it's a very good ability nonetheless. -2, whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell from your hand this turn, it gains Rebound. Now, that is a crazy good ability. Seeing the resurgence of Rebound is pretty neat. But with this, is just very crazy with the Jeskai and very crazy in Azorius. She is going to be nuts to deal with. I'm going to say that much. Her ultimate is -9, and an emblem with your opponents can't cast non-creature spells whole. Now, to be fair, she's going to take at least 3 turns to get to that emblem, but I don't even know if that emblem is necessarily what you want to go for. You never want to look at ultimates on a Planeswalker to see if they're good, but that ultimate is very good. I'm just going to say that. Now we have Dragonlord Servant, which is 1 red and 1 colorless. A Goblin Shaman, and dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Now this is a very good card, and will essentially make dragons pretty decent in standard. I still think I prefer my hold on, let me see what that was called. I think it's Dragon Speaker Shaman. It's the one I use in my Dragon Speaker Shaman. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay, so my Dragon Speaker Shaman, which I use, very good card, but very comparable. We're looking at a 2 red and 1 colorless barbarian, human barbarian. With dragons, you cast 2 less to play, but I will say the Dragonlord Servant does have a bigger body, as the Dragon Speaker has a 2/2, so that's interesting. You're definitely not going to use Dragonlord Servant to attack. Dragonlord Servant is purely to make your dragons cheaper, just like Dragon Speaker Shaman. So it's a very good comparison. I would throw 4 of each, most likely, in a deck. I don't know. That's a bit much, but Dragon Speaker and Dragon Lords, very good cards we got here. Full Razor Regent, 2 red, 5 colorless, dragon flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. That's a very good right off the bat ability. Whenever a creature you control fights, put 2 1/1 counters on it at the beginning of the next end step. And there, right there, you have it, making it worth 7 mana. I don't know if it's necessarily gonna see standard play with the other dragons, but it's a very good card nonetheless. Having that fight is very crazy good, and, you know, having it win is even better. So then we have Salt Road Ambushers. 1 green, 3 colorless, Hound Warrior. Whenever another permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, put 2/1/1 counters on it. I do wonder if these megamorph abilities have to like work with these abilities too, right? Don't they? I don't know. Cause this is way too much for a megamorph if it doesn't also do this. But if it does also do that, that is a very good ability. I don't know. It's still crazy. It's cool. Morph might be playable in standard. These cards are very reminiscent of Onslaught morphs. I will say that. Now this one's a pretty meh aggro rah. He's way too expensive. I'm not even going to talk about him. Here's a very cool one. The Gudul Lurker. For 1 blue, you can cast him and he's 1/1 unblockable. Or you can Megamorph him. That'd be turn 4, right? Turn 4, and you get a 2/2 unblockable. Which is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know what to say about unblockables other than they're good. This is a very good one. Meringue River Skeleton looks a lot like another Meringue guy I remember from Blue, I believe. What happened? He died. So basically, Dread Skeleton. Pretty basic, pretty good though. Avon Sunstriker, nothing to call home about. He is a double striker for 2 white, 1 colorless. Flying and double strike is very good, but this Megamorph cost is a bit too much for my taste for a 2/2 flying double strike. 5 for 2/2 flying double strike is just not enough. Just not enough there, in my opinion. I feel like if you're going to go for the double strike, you should go with the other one. Just my opinion, but it's basically Kemba's Sky Regent, but not as good. I mean, it is just as good, actually. It is just as good. The fact that it's a cat and a knight is kind of meh, so this being a bird warrior is just as meh. And that Megamorph is a slight bonus. I guess if you think about it, it's decent if you pull it late game, whereas, you know, this on its own is not as good late game. I don't know. I'm pretty meh about it. It's basically Kemba Sky Regent, only different. Scale Guard Sentinels. Very great art. I think this is like an F&M bonus or the pre-release bonus. I can't remember what art that's for, but either way, pretty cool. 2 green for a human soldier. That's a 2/3. Already very good. Right there, just right there. That's always good to have a greater balance of power, toughness. Just the toughness there, I suppose. But either way. As an additional cast Scale Guard Sentinel, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. And basically, when it enters the battlefield, if you control a dragon or if you revealed the dragon, he gets an additional counter. So he becomes a 3/4, which is insane. Insanely good. Can't wait to see that in play. Evolving Wilds, great reprint. Not too sure since it was in M15, but I guess it's fair enough so considering we're going back to Zendikar soon, and we're going to see more multicolor shizzle whizzle. Dragon Fodder, basic reprint from Alara. Very good, though. Put 2 1/1 goblin creatures onto the battlefield. And it's sorcery, and that's just, you know, it's a good sack outlet, but it's also, you know, very good for stopping, I think Jeskai was a big problem that goblins deal with, so this is another one you're going to see. Kolgon, which is probably the most meh Dragon Lord I've seen, but it's just my opinion. So for 1 black, 1 red, 4 colorless, you get a Flying Haster. Other creatures you control have haste. Whenever an opponent casts a creature or planeswalker spell with the same name as a card in their graveyard, that player loses 10 life. I don't see that working to this ability. I mean, when it works, it's going to be deadly. But I just don't see it happening too often. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And most dragons in red have haste. A lot of dragons have red, especially black red. So I just don't see that. I don't see that being too great. Just my opinion, but he's okay. She's okay. Especially compared to the other dragons so far. That's the most okay one. Boltwing Marauder, 1 red, 1 black, 3 colorless. Flying. When another creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +2, +0 until end of turn. 5/4. Pretty good ability. It's decent, again. I mean, getting a 5/4 for 5 is pretty good, and then getting the extra 2 damage, it's pretty good. Nothing to call home about, but it's decent, and you'll probably see some play. If dragons become a thing, especially Jund dragons, this will be one you put in there. Harbinger of the Hunt, 1 green, 1 red, 3 colorless. Flying, 1 red, 2 colorless. And Harbinger of the Hunt deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. 1 green, it deals 1... whatever, basically the same ability but red, only creatures with flying. It's a good card. Not so great if you're going to kill your other dragons or your other creatures, but good for killing your opponents. And we have Pristine Skywise, 1 blue, 1 white, dragon, flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, untap it, it gains protection. Pretty good. It's basically when you're attacking and you throw a combat trick in there, you get vigilance and protection, which is really sweet. Definitely be able to kill some other players' dragons, or, you know, a lot of stuff like that. So that's pretty cool without it dying. I will add that. Necromaster Dragon, 1 black, 1 blue, 3 colorless for a flying dragon. Whenever Necromancer Dragon deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature onto the battlefield, and each opponent puts top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, not on the battlefield. I almost messed that up big time. That would have been very bad, whereas this is pretty dang good. So it's a bit of a mill and a bit of a zombie creator, very white-black. It's a good dragon. It's a good dragon. I wouldn't say it's great as being a dragon, but it's very good in the Sidisi colors, and it's not really messing with anything at the 5 slot, I can't think. Oh, wait, shit, I might be lying. I might be lying my butt off right now. I think, freaking Tassigor 5-drop? Because he might be messing with the 5-drops, if that's the case. I think Tassigor is a 6-drop. Okay. So Tassigor is a 6-drop, and Sidisi is a what drop? Is a 4-drop. So it actually fits on curve with Sidisi and Tassigor. So that's pretty neat. So that's a good dragon. I'm going to say that. Very good for Sultai, I'm going to say. And Dimir. Obviously, Dimir is good with that. So then we're Asharan Sovereign, 1 white, 1 green, 5 colorless. For a flying dragon, what a surprise. And whenever it dies, you may put it on the top or bottom of its owner's library, 6/6. So when you're getting a 6/6 for 7, that's not super great, but in white-green, you're not going to complain too much, especially when it basically doesn't die. It doesn't die very well. So that's always cool. You can risk him without being too sad about him leaving. And then we have Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. 1 green, 2 colorless. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells. Seeing a utility creature in mythic status is always terrible, but we're not going to think about that too much. He also has this really crazy formidable ability that basically ends the game. So for 11 and tap, each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls. Activate this ability only if creatures you control have the total power 8 or greater. Now, this is not going to be an easy thing to accomplish, but it's going to be game ending, I think. If it does, I suppose it deserves mythic status, but I don't know. I just feel like he's too utility. But that's just my opinion, of course. But that first ability is pretty decent. Most of the time you want to cast creature spells, but, you know, sometimes in green you want to use your mana dorks to giant growth and other things like that. So we're working at the last page of cards. I know I've been running on quite a long time, almost an hour now talking, but this is the last batch. Eldritch command, 1 blue, 1 white, 2 colorless. For an instant, choose 2. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That right there is awesome. Awesome ability. Especially for only 4. And then you can gain 4 life, which is shit. That is so shit. That is so bad. I don't like this at all. I mean, ugh. Don't get me wrong, gaining life isn't always bad, but especially in blue-white control, I just don't see that being very good. I just don't like gain 4 life. I feel like that could have been more. It could have been something different. I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing something there. Let me know if I'm not, because I just don't like this. You gain 4 life. But counter target creature spell, whoa. Starting to get better, isn't it? These two together, that's pretty great. Draw a card. Oh, any of these 3 in combination, great. This one, I just don't see being good. Unless you somehow need 4 life. But I feel like either of these 2 things could accomplish something better. I don't know. So we have Sunscorch Regent, 2 white and 3 colorless for a flying dragon. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on Sunscorch Regent, and you gain 1 life. That's pretty good. See, this is where life gain is pretty good. Because it's just a bonus. It's not the, the card itself. It's just a bonus. I love the bonus life gain. I think that's... Don't get me wrong. I love life gain. I have a lot of decks that utilize life gain. I have a lot of decks that do life gain. But it shouldn't be the main concern. It should be just the bonus. In my opinion. That's just my thought. Your opponent plays a spell. You gain 1 life. Your opponent plays Lightning Bolt, it's now Lightning Strike. Or, not Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike's 3/2. Zap, or not Zap. It's not even Zap. I can't even remember which one it is that's 1 red for 2 damage. But either way, it's good. It's a good card. This is a good card. Radiant Purge, a very good card. I don't think it'll be great for Standard right now. I mean, it's going to be great for dealing with the Dragon Lords, obviously, but... So is Reprisal, so I don't know. It's good. It's decent. Exile target multicolored creature or multicolored enchantment. I really wish this, could have targeted, multicolored's great, but if it targeted, colorless as well, that'd be really good. I don't know, maybe that's a little too powerful, though. I feel like this more belonged in Dragon's Maze or something. I don't know. Silumgar Assassin. 1 black, 1 colorless. Creatures with power greater than Silumgar Assassin's power can't block it. So it's kind of the opposite of what most things like this are. Usually it's weaker than this, can't block it. But this one, more powerful things in it can't block it. And it has... Megamorph, which is always pretty good. And it's a 3-cost Megamorph, so that's a bonus right there. When it is turned face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less and opponent controls. So it's basically the opposite of the Dragon Slayer, but it's a good card. It is a good card. I could see this being in a lot of maybe even main decks, but definitely sideboards. At the very least, sideboards. For this one, for sure. And the art is really neat. I've never seen an assassin with a giant polearm. So Thunderblake Regent. This is going to be another really good one. 2 red and 2 colorless. Flying whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls. It deals 3 damage to that player. Bam! That's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy good one. At least I think so. Profound Journey looks really cool. It's a 7 cost, 2 white, 5 colorless sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that could be planeswalkers, creatures, enchantments, and it has rebound. So it does it twice. Which is great. So I see this being a very well played card. It's a great card in my opinion. It's just too good to pass up. Though, okay, that is. I was gonna say I thought that looked like Dromokaz scales for the Abzan, but that is in fact Jeskai. So that was my bad. Stratus Dancer, blue and one colorless. Jin Monk. God, the Jin are so wonky. I swear to God, the Ifrits and the Jin just look too similar sometimes. And this definitely looks like an Ifrit Jin. But anyway, Flying Megamorph, 1 blue, 1 colorless. So that's getting a 3-2 for that is pretty good. Especially with the flyer. Whew. And when it's turned space up, counter targets instant or sorcery spell. Holy shit, that's good. That's all I can say about that. That is a good card. Wow. I don't even remember reading this one. I've read all of these before I've checked them out, but I don't remember that being I don't remember reading that last part. That is good. This is a good card. This should be like sideboard for every deck, even the ones not running blue. Oh my god, I hate it already. I don't play blue very often, but that is good. So we have Dragon Tempest, red, and 1 colorless. An enchantment, whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, gains haste until end of turn, which is good, again, but it should be known that a lot of dragons, once again, I will say that, already have haste, but in conjunction with, hold on, if you conjunct that with their 1, come on, let's go to 1, page 1, I already forgot what it's called, but it's the one I really liked, so let's go down here. Oh, was it not on this page? Oh, yeah, there it is. Descent of Dragons, these don't have haste, so when you're slapping these down, you can attack right away, so I think that's really cool. That conjunction could make a crazy good deck. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot! There we go. So, and then, as a bonus ability, which, if that wasn't good enough, which it kind of, I guess, never mind. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. Holy shit, this is so good. That is a game ender with the sorcery. That is a game ender. Wow. I don't remember reading this one either. I know I read all these. Come on, this is so good, though. Wow. 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 This is going to be some, like, I'm going to make a casual deck out of these, I can tell you what. So then we have Airy Bowmasters. 2 green and 2 colorless for Hound Archers. With Reach and Megamorph. So very basic, pretty decent though for commons. Stampeding Elk Herd, 2 green, 3 colorless. Formidable foe, so when you have power 8 or greater, creatures gain trample until end of turn. So that's pretty good. And it's a 5/5 for 5, so you can't really complain too much about that. That's a pretty good card. Sprinting Warbrute. 1 red and 4 colorless, and it attacks each turn if able, and it's a 5/4 for 5. Decent. With the dash ability, it's even better, though. Because for 4 cost, you deal 5 damage. As long as it goes through, but it's most likely going through if you're playing it. Umgar Butcher, 1 black, 4 colorless. A zombie Djinn. Wow, that is quite a creature type. A zombie Djinn. Whew. That's weird. It has exploit, so whenever this creature enters the battlefield, you may sack a creature, and whenever it exploits a creature, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Very good ability. Jutai Summons, 2 blue, 3 colorless. Put 2 Djinn Monks onto the battlefield with flying. So for 5, you get... Wow, that's actually pretty decent, because you get... Oh, it's... so you do just get 2 flyers. Never mind. I got really excited there for a second, and I was like, whoa, that's way too good for blue. But it's not. It's just 2 of them. I just read it wrong the first time. It's okay. It's not good. It's not good. Sandcrafter Mage, it's going to be good for limited, though. I will say that. It's pretty good for limited. 1 white, 2 colorless. Whenever it enters the battlefield, bolster 1, and it's a 2/2, it's meh. That's pretty meh. It's okay. I mean, if you're playing a bolster deck in limited or something, it'll be okay, but meh. So 2 black and 3 colorless for a really good card named Sidisi Undead Vizier. I knew some bad shit was going to happen to Sidisi with this new Dragons of Tarkir because Tassiger made the plot against... Oh, shit. There's the 5 slot, I suppose, huh? Never mind. But either way, Tassiger made the plot with Dramuka in Fate Reforged because Sidisi... Well, not Sidisi necessarily, but the Naga betrayed him. So that's pretty cool that this is what happened, basically. Is that we don't necessarily have a big change in leader because, in a sense, I don't know if these are supposed to be leaders because we have Zergo as well, and he's just a Bell Striker. So I'm not too sure, and we've seen Narset be a Planeswalker, but if you read her story, she's not a leader necessarily either. There's no, like, human or Khan, I should say. There's no Khan leaders. Because the cons are all dead, period. But anyway, she has exploit, and whenever she exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. Very good card, 4/6 for 5. Death Touch is a very good as it is. Having that big body, like, I may have said earlier that you don't want a big thing for your Death Touch, but when you have a big body, that is good. You want a big body with your Death Touch. Because you want it to stick around so it can keep attacking and killing things. And with that diabolic, I suppose it's a diabolic tutor. Either way, it's tutor. It's a nice tutor. Very good card. Not a very good card. We have Dragon Lord Silumgar for 6 mana. I'm not even gonna go on too much details with him because he's pretty butt. Elder Dragon, Flying Death Touch. Whenever it enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature or planeswalker for as long as you control Silumgar. It's okay. Don't get me wrong. That ability is very good. But for 6, with everything he has, he's just not that good. He's not that good on his own. That ability and 6 mana is just going to be too good. I just don't see it. I just don't. I might get proven wrong, but as of right now, I think Silumgar is probably the worst Elder. I think, without a doubt, the Gruul Elder Dragon is the best. I think Dromaka is probably 3rd. I think that Ojroti is number 2. And I think Kolgon is probably number 4, if not number 3. I think Kolgon is at least number 3. I don't know. He's definitely better than Silumgar. Just gonna say that. And then we have Deathbringer Regent. 2 black, 5 colorless, flying dragon. Whenever Deathbringer Regent enters a battlefield, if you cast it from your hand and there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, destroy all other creatures. So he's pretty good. Not that great for 6 in a 5/6. Or 7 for a 5/6. But if you do get that Damnation on there, that's pretty dang good, right there. Because if you combine that Damnation with a 5/6, that is going to end the game. But that's saying you can pull that Damnation off, I suppose. So that's just my recap of the the spoilers for 3/6/2015. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope I didn't ramble too much. If you have any opinions and any ideas on how I can make these videos shorter or whatever, make these videos more entertaining in any way, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite card from Dragons of Tarkir spoilers are, and what you think is going to be the best in business. What you think I may have said wrong, whatever you think that My predictions aren't going to be that great. If you think like something like Silmogar is going to do great, let me know. And as always, let me just tell you that you need to have a hell of a week, and somebody hit my music.